Hey, good morning, guys. Hope you're having a great day. Great start yesterday to the week, right? And just let's go over SPX quickly. Then I want to go over some names today. Cyberstock names I want to go over, and then Baba, obviously, right? And then we'll speak. If you guys read the Gamma report today, it's good, right? Not bullish, not bearish, but there are a few comments that they give us hints in the coming days or weeks that will play true, right? Yesterday we had an indecisive day, a great day. All of us admins and plus the moderators, right, and the great traders in our room, we've been telling you that after this such a huge rally, a huge pop, it's just not gonna keep on going. All right, it's just just doesn't happen. For maybe a fifth day would have been possible, but for now, the market needs to breathe a little bit, right? The zones of breathing are of roughly 4,500 and 4,400, all right, or maybe 4,350, 4,500, right? For the top, here's what I see, right? Personally, I'm just waiting if I can get 4,500, which will provide a very good resistance short term, all right? Because to get through 4,500, 4,600, it's going to take a lot. Can I get through? Of course it can, right? But 4,500 is my top level that I'm watching, and then my conviction short is 4,550 maybe, all right? Which is likely to retest 4,400 maybe, or at least 4,450, a 100-point move down, all right? And then we see how the structure builds up. So 4,500 is my top level that I'm watching, and above 4,500, if it does hold, 4,550 will be the next. That's it, right? And then to the downside, obviously we have 4,400, right? Today I think I haven't checked the futures yet, but I think we should be opening somewhere around flat. 4,400 is a good support, and then we have here 4,456, 4,431. 4,400, and then 4,350, and then 4,300 will be the key support, right? If 4,300 is held, we might bounce back in again here, flag in case if we do get there, all right? Now, one thing I do want to say in the Gamma report, there, is backed by data. They do give us some hints. So if you look at it, the last paragraph is something that you need to read and understand. It's in layman terms very simple, but just read the last paragraph 1-2 times. Keep that in mind. It's gonna help you in the coming days. I can promise you right now. Right, I'm not gonna go too much into it. I prefer that you put that work into it and you try to understand that part. The last paragraph, very simple, easy. Just know what that means. Right? There won't be any warning when the fall comes, but that's all you need to know. Interest rates have been increasing, right? They're near resistance levels. If they break out, then obviously they're considered bad for tech stocks, right? Because their future earnings are worth less than what they are today, right? So if you want to read up on that, I was reading up a lot on 10-year, 30-year this morning. I get up, so I recommend that you guys put some work into it. It requires a lot of reading. It's not something I can just explain in 2 minutes talking here. I can only go over the brief. That's it. And then we have Baba. Baba had a 15 billion share repurchase program, which they announced, if you guys remember, right? If you guys remember, so I'll just write that down here for now so that you guys know. So 15 billion buyback program was announced, right? From which I think 9.2 billion, I think they have purchased already, I believe, already after the reading I did. And they have increased it by another 10 billion, right? So Baba always a great growth company. I think it's one of the best companies in the world, but they took a huge beating last few years. And if the tensions between China and the world, Russia, are solved this year, maybe next year things will be back to normal. This is one stock that will actually probably fly if delisting does not happen. However, if more concerns come in, delisting, something like that comes, then obviously Baba can see lows, right? So China is very uncertain, so I don't know what's going to happen. But if this was a stock based in the U.S., a U.S. company, then obviously it would have been a great time to buy. And this is active throughout March 2024. So the buyback is not going to happen immediately, but they're starting it, but it's active for the next 2 years. So until March 2024, they will continue. At what speed do they do? You got to check the 10K filings or the company filing to see how much they're actually buying back. All right. So until March 2024, this is active, the $25 billion repurchase program. And obviously Baba's up huge on this news. And let's just go on the weekly chart quickly to understand this. Right, and so we do have some resistance lines here, which I drew. These are based on my point of view. You may have something different, but obviously we need to get through them. The first zone that Baba needs to get through is above right here, the 10th Jan high, right? We hold above this zone, we start building a base. That would be the first tell in Baba in the Chinese names that, okay, you know what, a bottom may be being put in. All right, that would be maybe the first indication. So January 10th high is what? 130, 138.70. So I would say above 140. So Baba still has 30 more points to go for me, right? And if it builds a solid base here, then for the coming weeks, maybe I will buy some leap calls if it works out that way. So let's see how this one comes out. Somebody in the group mentioned or wanted to talk about some cyber names, right? Yes, I'll go over Nike. By the way, Nike, congrats. I think Nike is up nice pre-market. T called this one out yesterday on the earnings. I think he saw something. What's trading at pre-market right now? So if I go 136.95, not no, pretty good, pretty good. So here is that resistance. That's the only thing I will say. As you guys can see, a very strong resistance here. Very strong resistance near 137, 138, right? And that's exactly where we are opening up in the morning. So you guys might get a pop towards 138, 140. Then does it hold? I don't know. I am not in, but if you're in, I highly recommend you manage your position at the open, right? That's all I can say. So 136, 138 zone is hard resistance, but in the morning, it's an earnings day, so you might get the pop, or maybe it continues. I have no idea. But I think your premiums should be up because of the T-bot time on his calls. So congrats, good play. And okay, so some cyber names I want to go over to. First is Fortinet. A nice little pattern on the weekly, right? On the weekly, nice little pattern. These are names that I was actually looking at the weekly charts, so that's good. So if we break out this zone right here, I think we're roughly working out on it. And if we can hold above this 335 level, 330ish, this is a name that I would probably go long on it because the MACD is also curling up. This is just based on the cyber names. I'm getting a little popularity here, you know, with cyber attacks, everything going on. So on the sentiment, these names can run, right? It can have a nice little run towards. But again, one thing you do want to keep in mind is that these stocks also ran up a lot, right? In the last few years, I mean, it came from 76 to 315, right? So here on the weekly, this can be looked as a bull flag. It depends how you look at it. It can be looked as a bull flag also, right? And once it breaks out, this is one name that I would keep an eye on. Am I buying it right away? I am not, right? Because I'm very happy with my SPX levels trading right now. Is working for me, so I don't need to spread my mind everywhere in so many names. But if you're someone that likes sectors, you want to play different names, FTNT I would keep an eye on. And then I got Motion Life, which I looked up, right? On the weekly as well. This is also another name which I looked up. Consolidating Beautiful did not really participate with the market or drawdown, and I think this could be a great play to the upside on the weekly. It's a slow mover. It's a slow mover, so this is something that I would probably buy equity or play equity names on it. If you're doing options, buy further out time. But and look, I think if you get the 50 MA touch on the weekly right here, roughly in this buy-in zone, this could be a great equity play. Right? Why equity? Because here there's a lot of strong resistance support. Let's say the stock you buy at 25 bucks, for example. Let's say, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying 25, just an example. I'm using the whole number. Let's say you buy equity at 25. My upside target will be maybe 26.50 for a dollar move up. But if it does not work out in my favor, my stop loss maybe 24.70, and then I will wait for it to set. So here my ratio is 30 cents to $1.50, right? On the equity. So if I get this trade wrong, I lose 30 cents. If I get it right, I make $1.50. You pick out 5 trades like this, and even if you're right on 2, you're up huge in net profits. That's how equity trades work. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. All right. Some people like averaging down if it's a huge support. So that's up to you how you want to manage. All right. So Anlook is another name that I will keep an eye on. I forgot who asked, but somebody asked for cyber names yesterday. And then obviously we have Palo Alto, a beautiful breaker on the weekly. Right. The only thing is we have resistance above this zone. And now on the weekly, if we continue holding here, let's look at the daily on this little zoomed in. So daily looks like it wants to break out. But again, I've seen 4 candles like this and a huge red one. So Palo Alto on the weekly, it wants to break out. I think by the end of the month, we'll have a better idea. This is one name that I would also keep an eye on. If it holds above this 578, 580 level, this can see a move to 600 and 650. It will be a big name. So Pan, W, keep an eye on. But options on these names will be expensive. That's only if you're bullish on the cyber names and you think they run. All right. So that's up to you how you play them. But this is one name that I would keep an eye on. Right. And then Zscaler. I like this chart one the best. The reason being is because I see this pattern which usually works out great, right? Which usually works out great, right? This is a pattern that I see on it, a little wedge pattern. So this is something that I would keep an eye on the weekly. I think it can retest 250. So from all the charts I went over, this is just my personal #1 pick. MACD setting up something that can probably break out. So ZS, keep an eye on it. This is a great name, I think. Technically set up, a very good support level. If this runs, look into it. It came down from 370. It can make its way back to a 50 MA. All right, so it's a 20-30 point move. So ZS, keep an eye on it. Right, the MACDs are also very it's curling up now. So if it builds a base here, this can probably break out. Sometimes it takes a few weeks for it to run a workout. So I would buy some time. Right, so I would buy like at least 4 or 5 months out on it. Right, and then we have S. This is a startup. It's a startup, I believe, based in California or Arizona. I was looking at. So keep an eye on this name as well, right? If it's putting in a bottom here, and this can also run. Right now, I think they just flushed all these people at the IPO buyer. They had their support levels, and if this name holds, another name I came across, just keep an eye on it. This can probably make its way back to 47 and eventually 53, right? Another equity name. So S, keep an eye on it. And obviously CrowdStrike, we all know, right? Great name. But here, just having a little on the weekly at a very strong support level, and it's currently at the resistance zone right here, right? Currently resistance zone. So 200 is a must hold. Failure to hold can test 170. Wow, this actually played out. So this was something that we gave you guys a chart of some time back, I believe. So yep, so it worked out. So 200 was not able to hold, failure. So 170 was tested. Below 170 was tested, I believe, right here. And now we're back here again. So the same thing again. 200, 50 MA must hold, get through, and then this can probably see highs. Right. So Crowd is very popular among on FinTwit, and a lot of people trade this name. Because I do see a little weakness, so I would not be in a rush to buy this name. So Crowd, keep an eye. So these are my 6 names that I'm keeping an eye on right now. Let's see which one I play, if I play. Coin. Somebody mentioned if Bitcoin runs. So let's just quickly look at the Bitcoin chart. Right, BTC, USDT. So Bitcoin. Oh man, I got my drawings here. So Bitcoin is trading near 43K. Wow. So I'll actually just remove all my drawings, I guess, and let's go on the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Right. So Bitcoin, guys, on the weekly, as you can see, it's in the support. Right. Basically, the first thing I see here is a bear flag on the weekly. Right. I know. If you love Bitcoin, I love Bitcoin. Don't mind me. But again, this can also be pointed as a double bottom kind of pattern here. Right. A very strong support. So does the bear flag hold, or does Bitcoin rip up? I have no idea. Personally, I'm waiting until 46K. If it gets 46K and it holds and it gets above the 50 MA, which is roughly 45, so 50 MA happens to be just roughly below 46K. Above 46K hold, I will turn bullish on Bitcoin again, and I will start playing the names. Until it does not get 46, I don't believe in any of these rips. That's just my own opinion, but MACD is lining up on the weekly. So far, it looks great. So one angle is a bear flag, the other is holding well above this support zone. It's holding well above here. This zone right here is holding well above it, right? So if we continue holding higher than this zone, right, then obviously, I think we see higher, right? Usually what they do is on these, now here, one thing that you can see is higher, low, right? Higher, low, and now we want to see if this holds above 46K. Another thing that you want to keep in mind, that usually when the first major support on a big drawdown happens, this is just from my experience, they usually next time if they ever come close to here, they likely love flushing these stops out. So there's a good chance they can flush these stops out here, right, which is below this in the coming weeks and months, and then maybe rip back up. This is just a scenario, a possibility that you should know if you're playing long. And if you're playing short, you should know that above 46K, it can go higher. So that's how you always know, right? So coin, like it also depends on Bitcoin, I believe. If Bitcoin shows a lot of strength and is strong, then coin can always go much higher, right? And obviously coin lost a lot more than Bitcoin from its highs. But here, 176, a lot of selling has been happening here. For coin, I would simply look at the Jan 31st opening price above hold, right? The opening price here was 177.87, right? So if I can get the whole opening, sorry, closing price 194, guys. I'm sorry, 194. That didn't make sense. So 195, 195 plus hold is what I will look for. Why 194? Some of you guys probably, these are just my way of looking at charts. Because on this green day, on the high was this, and then they continue selling above this. So above 194.95, they completely started selling, right? And that's why I look at technicals. So 194, 195 plus hold, and we see what happens. We're trading live on voice chat. We nailed a lot of plays yesterday. Be patient with your entries. Another thing I want to tell you guys is please don't message others in the group to tell them to come to you and teach you how to trade. Right? That's not the right way of doing it. You have any questions, ask in premium chat. They don't know you. You don't know them. You don't know their account, and you have no idea about them, who they are. Right? So some of you guys are messaging others like, can you come to me and help me to trade? Right? I mean, it makes no sense. Right? That's not something we're promoting in our group. Anything you want to ask, you need help, just ask in the premium chat. We're all there for you. And yep. So thank you for that, and we'll see you guys back in the chat. Manage well.